Video games have always been an excellent form of escapism, and what better way to escape the horrors of the real world than by immersing yourself in some of the most exciting, upcoming tales of terror from 2026. I'm Eurogamer's Ian Higton, and what follows are my choices for the 13 most exciting horror games in 2026 that you really need to keep your eyes on. You know, just in case they're secretly sentient and are waiting to stab you in the back with some rusty scissors when you're not looking, or something. But anyway, let's not try to think about that, because it's time to tell you all about a brand new year of fear. Okay, let's start things off with the obvious, and that is Resident Evil 9, aka Resident Evil Requiem, the next installment in Capcom's juggernaut of a horror series. We already knew that Requiem starred new character FBI agent Grace Ashcroft, but thanks to the recent reveal at the Game Awards 2025, we finally have official confirmation that everyone's favourite side-parting sporter Leon Kennedy is back.
You there, Leon?
Playable in both third and first-person viewpoints, Grace has been described as the most fearful protagonist in the entire series, which means her gameplay will revolve around stealth and investigation, whilst Leon's segments will be focused more on combat and action. Considering the game is out in February 2026, it's unlikely that Capcom will reveal more about the story at this point. But the only outstanding question that I want answered is, are there any plans for a VR mode? Because if not, well, that's yet another unwanted jump scare for PlayStation VR 2 owners. Tarsier Studios is back with Reanimal, its long-awaited game which basically rebrands and repackages its signature children in messed up places survival stealth gameplay now that it no longer owns the license for the Little Nightmares name. Designed to be more terrifying than any game in the Little Nightmares series and boasting a mature rating as proof, Reanimal is said to feature maximum claustrophobia and tension and a sense of adventure and dread. Because Reanimal is designed for co-op play, this means that you and a friend can hide from the game's messed up monstrosities together and poop your pants in tandem, which should make the subsequent cleanup job way easier. In a world of countless copy and paste horror games, Holstin here offers an utterly unique take on tackling the undead. At first glance, Holstin looks like one of the many indie-produced, retro-inspired survival horror games that have released in the past few years. But as soon as I saw the way the third-person puzzling and exploration gameplay switches to an over-the-shoulder viewpoint for some hardcore, gore-tastic zombie-blasting action, I was all in. Set in a small town in Poland in 1992, it's your job to discover the whereabouts of your missing friend Bartek and get him the hell out of there before it's too late. If it isn't already, of course. If the classic hand-drawn pixel art visuals combined with modern lighting techniques haven't won you over already, then hopefully the promise of gunning down the game's twisted monstrosities with a variety of weapons will encourage you to keep this one on your watch list. It's a pretty good bet that upcoming asymmetrical horror game Halloween will be a massive hit, and that's thanks to the fact that it's being developed by IllFonic and Gun Media, the studios behind the excellent but now sadly shut down Friday the 13th game. Halloween follows IllFonic's traditional asymmetric formula as one player hunts for four others through a recreation of Haddonfield, the setting for the original movie. In a first for IllFonic, Halloween also features a single-player story mode, where fans of the film can experience The Night He Came Home through the eyes of Michael Myers himself. which is great news for both horror heads who hate multiplayer games and also for people with no friends. Just like me. I'm so lonely.
Attention. Access to all external areas is restricted.
You can't really have a list about horror games without including something that can be described as Lovecraftian, and The Sinking City 2 is exactly that. Featuring designs inspired by the imagination of H.P. Lovecraft and set in the 1920s in the flooded alleys and decrepit mansions of a labyrinthine city called Arkham. No, not that one. The Sinking City 2 features a standalone story from the previous game, so you won't have to play catch-up if you dive straight into this one. With a semi-open world and a focus on survival horror and puzzle-solving gameplay, The Sinking City 2 sounds incredibly promising, and it's something that fans of things like the Silent Hill 2 remake might be interested in. Best of all though, it looks very scary indeed, and with all the mind-bogglingly supernatural scenes going on, you'll be forgiven if you accidentally HP your pants.
In this hour of darkness.
If you like both Resident Evil and Bioshock, then you, my fear-loving friends, need to check out Crisol Theatre of Idols, a horror FPS influenced by Spanish folklore and religion. As you explore the cheerfully named island of Tormentosa, you'll need to fight off a whole host of living statues using a variety of weapons. But beware, you have to use your own blood as ammo, which means every shot you fire brings you one step closer to death. Awesome! With some impressive visuals to back up this intriguing gameplay mechanic, Crisol Theatre of Idols has all the signs of a smash hit horror game, which means I'll begrudgingly forgive it for spelling theatre the American way and not the English way, which is the correct way.
Consumed in your flames. For all eternity. Now. And forever. Crisol.
If you're a lover of both improbable piercings and people with no clothes on, watch out for Clive Barker's Hellraiser Revival, a game that not only delivers both of these things in spades, but also almost definitely combines them in a variety of painful ways too. Oof. In this brand new Hellraiser story, you play as a man called Aiden, who is trying to rescue his girlfriend Sunny from Pinhead's labyrinth. And oh my, does this game have
such sights to show.
Featuring a content warning on its Steam page that's about as long as War and Peace, you can expect Hellraiser Revival to be one of the most graphic horror games of all time. And that's both in terms of violent scenes and seeing people's jiggly bits. What a sunny delight it shall be.
Doesn't look too bad.
Doesn't look too good either.
Directive 8020 is the first game in the second season of the Dark Pictures anthology, and for this instalment, Supermassive Games are taking their unique blend of interactive drama and survival horror to the one place that hasn't been corrupted by capitalism.
Space!
The quality and critical reception has been fairly varied for the previous games in the Dark Pictures anthology, but with each new release, Supermassive has added new features in order to better serve the scares, and Directive 8020 is no different. Instead of featuring the highly scripted hazards from Season 1, this time players will face real-time alien threats on board the crashed colony ship Cassiopeia. Combine this unpredictability with some tense The Thing-inspired who is human and who is not gameplay, and you've got all the makings of an edge-of-your-seat horror game that'll put the ARG in cinematic. Yeah, I think that one worked better in my head.
A long time ago, there was a village here.
Fancy a dose of nostalgic survival horror mixed with modern day visuals? Well, if that's the case, Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly Remake might be something you want to snap up when it releases in March. The original game came out in 2003, so there's a good chance that this will be the first time that a lot of people will get to experience twin sisters Mio and Mayu's haunting adventure in Minakami Village. The original game has been meticulously recreated from the ground up, with super detailed textures, brand new 3D audio, improved controls, and enhanced camera obscura battles. Oh yeah, did I mention that you have to take photos of ghosts with a camera in order to defeat them in Fatal Frame 2? Because you do. It's basically the only way you can fight back, so think of it a bit like Pokemon Snap, except that the only thing you'll see snapping in this game will be Mio's neck if you don't repel the angry spirits in time.
Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly Remake.
If you've ever dreamt about exploring the deranged dungeons of Dark Souls from a first-person perspective, then Decrepit here might be one for you. Featuring Souls-like combat against manky monsters, all within the claustrophobic confines of a creepy castle, this one looks set to frighten and thrill in equal measure. With stamina-based melee combat and spellcasting running alongside roguelite elements and brutal boss battles, Decrepit's gameplay will not go easy on you. However, permanent upgrades and the satisfaction of slowly unlocking shortcuts and alternate routes should give you the incentive to push on. Just like every game that aims to ape the Souls-like formula, Decrepit will feature a very steep learning curve in an unforgiving world, and, according to the blurb on its website, your every mistake will be punished. Which sounds eerily like what happens anytime I mess up doing this job. No, please, not the Eurogamer oubliette again. I can't handle it. If you enjoyed Silent Hill F and want more freaky fog-based frights, Silent Hill Townfall might be the one game on this list to scratch that itch. Or maybe it won't, because while not much is known about Townfall yet, allegedly it's more of a side game than a full entry in the series, so perhaps a bit like the recent free game Silent Hill The Short Message then. Take this next statement with a pinch of salt, but according to some recent leaks, Townfall is a game made up of several short stories that focus on ghosts from the town's past, and especially ones that haunt a beach not far from the town in question. But what town will that be? After Silent Hill F, it really could be any town in the world, so my bet is Swindon.
I've decided that this abandoned farm will be the place where I die. But
if I was to tell you that We Harvest Shadows here is Silent Hill meets Stardew Valley, I wouldn't be surprised if you asked me to take a breathalyzer test, but that is absolutely what this game is, and that makes it one of, if not the most interesting and unique horror games on this list. Just like in a normal cozy farming sim, players will need to fix up their farmhouse, care for their livestock, and improve their farmstead during the day. But things take a turn at night when the slow burn horror comes out to play. We Harvest Shadows is a narrative experience which focuses on the building of the tension and atmosphere over cheap jump scares. But this means that when the scares come, and come they will continue to haunt you long after the credits have rolled.
We'll see what winter brings after the harvest.
You've got to be absolutely sick in the head if you like the look of Ill and its creepy cast of goop-covered monstrosities. So I guess you can count me as a sicko then, because I think Ill looks awesome. Created by a team that has experience with working on horror in film and TV, including on things like Welcome to Derry, Longlegs and VHS Beyond, the developers of Ill are hoping to create a survival horror game that will challenge even the most seasoned fans of the genre. And by the looks of this gnarly gameplay, I think it's safe to say that they've likely succeeded. If intense body horror and unpredictable enemies are your jam, I have a sneaky suspicion that Ill will thrill. And that is me done. I'm sure you've got a list of your own spooky games that you're looking forward to in 2026, so please do let us know all about them in the comments below, because there's always safety in numbers. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a like, subscribe to Eurogamer for almost daily videos about video games, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye! Boo! Did I make you jump? I hope so. Made myself jump. What can I say? I'm easily startled.